Hello, everyone, and welcome back to SpeakUpSis Talkshow. This is the place where independent and self-published authors, especially Christian authors, have an opportunity to share their stories, the word of their testimonies through their written work right here with you all in order to inspire you to open up your mouth and share your stories and maybe potentially through the written word. I'm your host, Angel Charmaine. And tonight, y'all, we are not doing conversations that connect. I know. You all are used to seeing conversations that connect. However, I have created a new segment for you all. I think it's a pretty special segment. I think y'all are going to like this segment. This segment is the new author spotlight. Yes, you heard me correctly. We are going to be giving brand spanking new authors an opportunity to share their written work with you. We want to make sure that they get the visibility they need so that they can get the increased readers that they need so that their stories can be read and all over the world, right? And we want to give them a little bit of a boost right here on the Speak Up Sis talk show. All right. So enough of me because I know who y'all have come here to talk to. I'm going to bring up our 5 new authors so that you can learn more about their books. Feel free to comment in the chat. We do talk to you if you want to ask them some questions. If we have some time, we will answer those questions. So I'm going to bring our authors in so that you all can meet them. Hello. You all can come on and greet everybody if you like. You can take yourselves off mute.
Good evening, everyone. And Denise,
Hello.
what happened at church?
Hello. And tonight we just happen to have 5 beautiful women. I tell people all the time, the Speak Up Sis talk show does not discriminate against men. Men are also invited. I'm the sis and Speak Up. My shirt says I am sis too. So I am the sis and Speak Up Sis. Men are allowed into our space, but tonight I'm happy that we've got 5 beautiful women in the space. And so we can kind of let our hair down a little bit. The first thing that I would like to do is give you all an opportunity to introduce yourselves to our audience. And so we're going to start up top to my right. We've got author Tareasha Monet in the building. And so, Tareasha, we're going to start with, back up. I just forgot. We got a birthday girl in the house.
Yeah.
We got a birthday girl in the house. So we're going to move. Tareasha, we're going to come back to you. You're going to be number 2. How about that, sis?
It works for me.
Okay. So Tollisa Stricklen, author Tollisa Stricklen has a birthday tomorrow. So happy birthday, sis.
Thank you.
Birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yes. I'm happy that you didn't cancel on us and that you can still be here. But we know you guys, you've got a meal to get to. So we're going to allow you to go ahead and introduce yourself and go ahead and tell us about your book as well.
Okay, so my name is Tollisa Stricklen. I am a Christian nonfiction author. Basically, my book is about my journey through dealing with mental illness. I just write to encourage others who might be going through the same thing that I have experienced in hopes to give them encouragement through the Word of God.
That was short and sweet. Okay, so hey, that listen, give it to them, let them take it and decide what they want to do with it. So before we let you go, though, I've got to ask you, why did you decide that you wanted to be an author? Are you a full-time writer? Do you do something else on the side? What is it about writing a book that made you decide to jump out and do this?
Well, actually, I was inspired by Sarah Jakes Roberts. I think she came out with her book called Woman Evolve. And that really pushed me to write my own book, to let people know that they're not alone, especially people of color, African Americans. We don't really talk about mental illness as much as I feel like we should. And then a lot of people don't talk about the cure because Jesus Christ is the cure. So just to encourage them and let them know that mental illness has no age. It is not biased, because I never thought that I would go through something like that. So just to encourage people that, because I needed that encouragement at a point in time.
Okay, that makes sense. And I'm gonna tell you, mental health concerns is a huge thing, right? And you're right. When we talk about Christians, when we talk about people being a part of the church or just religious organizations at large, there typically is a stigma around mental illness. And I don't know about you all, but I'm 46 years amazing. But I remember a time when, certain people with certain types of situations, they were in a room. Everybody knew Uncle so-and-so was over there, or auntie, whatever. She just have fits sometimes. If you're as old as me, you know the language, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just something that we don't really discuss it. Everybody just kind of knows it and we just move on. And it's sad as a bit of embarrassment and shame and on families and things of that nature. So getting to a place where we, especially as people of color, will open up our mouths, people of color and people of faith, will open up our mouths and talk about mental health issues is important. So I applaud you for coming into that space and sharing your own story.
Thank you.
Yeah, most definitely. So is there something that you would like to share with our viewing audience before we let you go? Do you have a last word of encouragement? Is there something you want to share about your book? Give us some contact information. How can they get your book? Whatever you want to share, this is your time.
Okay, well, you can find my Facebook page, Tollisa Stricklen, and there you will find all the information about my book. My book is also on Amazon, How to Overcome Your Fears. And just be encouraged. You'll get through this. Just be encouraged.
All right. You will. You definitely will get through it. Yes, Deborah. How you doing, Harold Bad Stars? Deborah Jefferson is also a self-published author. She says they were back in that room alone. Absolutely. People just pretending like nothing was going on. So Tollisa, thank you so much for coming into the New Author Spotlight. You all make sure you reach out to Tollisa, make sure you follow her, and most importantly, grab a copy of her book. Read it, give it to someone who needs to learn something, give it to someone who's struggling, who needs to be encouraged, right? Get the book and give it, but you read it first and then give it, right? Or purchase another one to give. How about that? So Tollisa, you take care and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
All right. Now, thank you, ladies, for allowing that. We got a birthday girl. We gotta go let her eat her meal, right? So now let's get into it. I would like for each one of you to tell us who you are, and if you're not a full-time writer, what is it that you do in this world other than writing? So, Tareasha Monet. We're going to start with you, sis.
I am Tareasha Monet. I'm from the beautiful city of Augusta, Georgia. I am a new author. Writing is not my full-time job yet. By trade, I am an integration specialist for an HCM company. And I also host my own podcast and my own business in administration.
That's what's up. You're a fellow podcaster too.
Yay.
That's what's up. We're going to have to connect in the podcast realm. How about that?
I'm down for it.
Yes, sis. We're going to have to chop it up in the podcast realm. I'm definitely interested in hearing more about you. But one thing I found and looking at all of you and what you were writing about, they all kind of filter into mental health some type of way. All of your work kind of connects a bit in that place. May not some more than others, but there's sort of some intersectionality there. And I think that would be a good place for us to sit with tonight in just a moment. But before we do that, let's move on over to author Oshesha Wynn.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Oshesha Wynn. I live in Augusta, Georgia. I am a certified occupational therapist assistant by day. I write for pleasure. So, what inspired me to write my book of poems was grief. That's how I channeled my grief by writing poetry. So, that's all I have for right now.
That's what's up. You good? You good. I just want to make sure you all say whatever it is that you want to say. I don't want to interrupt you. So you write poetry.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what's up. We have lots of poets in the Speak Up Sis community. And we'll get into that a little bit as well, because poetry is most definitely a way to deal with the things that are going on up here, and especially the things that go on in here, right? So we'll definitely connect with that as well. And I will say, as a new author, poetry is a difficult genre to enter.
It really is.
People don't fully understand poetry.
They don't.
They didn't like it in school, and they don't like it as adults, right?
No. Some people like, I didn't get it. Well, just read it again, and you'll see what the imagery I am painting. You just have to look at the words.
Exactly.
And just imagine what I am trying to say to you. So I love it.
That's what's up. I love poetry as well. So we'll jump into that in just a moment, as well as you share about the book specifically. So we're going to move on over to author Denise. If you will, please share with us.
Hi, I am Denise, the author of It Happened at Church. This is not Bible study, everybody. This is a religious comedy or work of fiction. So if you read the book and you say, that sounds like this church, it is not. It is a work of fiction. I live in the DMV. I grew up in Massachusetts and Connecticut. Shout out to my family in New Haven and all points in between. I have a deep, my family roots are in Georgetown, South Carolina, and Charleston, South Carolina. So shout out to my family who's listening in from all points, north, south, east, and west. I'm a wounded veteran who survived 9 years of active duty in the Army. So I have a Purple Heart, and I'm married. I have 2 adult children who are absolutely wonderful. And here I am. I do not write as a primary source of income. Obviously, I'm writing for pleasure. I decided to start writing because I was bored. I had all these ideas, and I decided I'm just going to put some of these things into a book. And out of the 5 or 6 work in progress that I have in my home, this one, as a matter of fact, there are 2 finished pieces, and It Happened at Church is the first one that I released, and I self-published it back in March of this year, and it's going very well.
That's what's up. So it looks like you got your own little posse over here.
Yes.
You brought your own squad with you tonight, and they're bigging you up tonight. So so when I first saw the title of your work, I was like, ooh. What done happened in church? You know what I'm saying? Oh Lord, what this one gonna be about? And so it's good to know that you have taken that into a different route, if you will, than most people would think, right? And so gonna give you a few minutes tonight to share a little bit more about that as well. But before we get into you all's books, let's talk to author Tanysha Costales. If you will, please introduce yourself.
My name is Tanysha Costales, also known as TLC. I am a #1 international best-selling author to the book Becoming a Virtuous Wife, a breakthrough guide to healing trauma, restoring your family, and unlocking the power of communication. It is a nonfiction book. I am self-published indie. I have an indie publishing company. I also am a radical self-love coach, and I am a motivational speaker as well. This is my book. So this was not planned. The Lord told me last year to write the book and to start the business. And 10 months later, I finally birthed the book. And he specifically told me to do this, though I did not want to do this. He said he wanted to use my story to heal his children. So here I am sharing my story, my experiences, and how I was able to overcome them. And I provide the readers with 9 keys to overcome spiritual conflict, or in other words, conflict resolution. And it's a guide. It's a guide to everyone's healing journey.
That's what's up. I like that. I like it. I also like the fact that it sounds like everyone's book, maybe, I don't know about Denise, maybe not Denise, but it sounds like everyone's work stemmed from their own story. And I really love that, because that is what Speak Up Sis is all about. It's about opening up your mouth and sharing the word of your story, and not loving your life unto death, but knowing that you can triumph by just opening up your mouth and speaking up. And it sounds like that's exactly what all of you are doing. And Denise gonna have to tell me if she's got, if that, because I don't want to put words in your mouth. But it might not have been something happened to you at the church house. I don't know. Maybe you saw some. I don't know, girl. But it sounds like for the most part, the other ladies, that was it for you. What was that final sort of thing, or was it a final thing? Because I know as believers, we'll say, God told me to do it, so I did it. That's real up in the air, and real, like, folks can't understand that, right? So what I want to know is, what was the thing? What moment? What actually precipitated I'm going to literally sit down and pen this work? Do you all mind sharing that moment with people? Because I believe there are folks who are saying, I know God wants me to do it, but for whatever reason, they're not doing it. What made you do it?
I'll say for me, I started out this year. I just turned 40 in June. So I started out the year asking myself and God, what's next for me? And this year it was from a different perspective, not in a place of comparison, but really, what's the next phase like for me? One of the questions that I'm asked often, because I'm very vocal and transparent about my own mental health journey, which is what led me to write this book, is how do I get through it? How do I get through the low moments, the depression, dealing with everything that I've dealt with and still deal with? And my answer has always been affirmation. So that's where my book was birthed. I wanted to share with people what's worked for me.
Okay, so if you will, please tell us about your book. It sounds like it's a bit of an affirmation journal or something of that nature.
Yeah, it is. So here's my book. It's actually, I don't know if y'all can see it with the.
There you go. Keep it right there.
Okay. It's called This Has to Be a Lie. And it's a 21-day journey of affirmations. And I do provide journal prompts for the reader to share why that particular affirmation resonates with them, what they can take away from it, or whatever thoughts they have, after not just reading the affirmation, but me sharing my story. And so it's 21 days that I just picked out 21 of my favorite affirmations that have resonated the most with me. Some were easier to get through and process through than others. But yeah, that's essentially what it's about. It's just I learned early on in this healing journey and in therapy that the biggest struggle is to overcome the thoughts that we have in our mind. And I've shared in several other platforms that we talk negatively to ourselves about ourselves. So affirmations has helped me unwork the negative things that I tell myself about myself.
That's what's up. I don't think a lot of people really understand the power that lies in the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that you have created something that helps people to take what's in here again and what's in here and turn it into words, right? And put it on paper. It's the putting on paper that makes things real for folks.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people don't start writing because writing it makes it real. If you never put it on paper, it's like it didn't happen, you know?
Exactly.
And so putting it on the paper, taking those words, and you can stand in the mirror all day and say, I am beautiful, I am beautiful, I am beautiful. When you actually start to write it, writing connects with some other brain mechanisms, right? The writing connects with your thinking. It connects with a lot of other things that make that thing come to life for you. So I love that you have an affirmation journal. I love that you use, it's almost like you did some research, some self-research before doing, because you said, I put the ones in here that worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I know they work.
They work. I think one of the most popular ones, I was asked this at my book signing a few weeks ago, like which one was the hardest one for me to process through? It's the very first one. I am enough, period. I have it tattooed on my arm as a reminder. You talked about writing it down, the scriptures for those of us that are in the faith-based community. It says, write the vision and make it plain. So I had affirmations written on my mirror in the bathroom, in my bedroom, poster board, sticky notes on my refrigerator. At one point in time, I have it tattooed as a reminder to myself that I am enough. But yes, it came from self-research. And then just hearing what other people say, friends, people that I connect with through social media, is something that we struggle with, especially as women. You know, we live in a world of comparison. We have social media now, and social media or the media in general is telling us what we should and shouldn't be. No, you are enough just as you are. The fact that you are here, you are whatever your name is, insert your name here, you are enough. And that's what I wanted to share.
You are enough. Period. Full stop.
Period.
Yeah. So, ladies, someone else want to chime in and tell us what was your moment, Tanysha?
Yes. So with me, I had my encounter with Jesus 6 years ago. I've been on this walk for 6 years, and my encounter that made me change my whole life was I received a healing miracle, and he healed me from fibromyalgia, which I share in my book. So when the Lord said, write the book because I want to use your story to heal my children, I was not going to disobey him, though I did not want to write the book. So I said, okay, Lord, I'm going to obey, and I'll write this book. I'll do what you say. You just have to connect me with the people who are going to help me. So it's really true when they say, oh, or when the Bible says obedience is better than sacrifice, because 2 weeks later, I received a breakthrough in my obedience with starting to write the book. And that breakthrough is something I prayed for 6 years, and it had to do with my husband. 2 weeks after my husband submitted to the Lord, and he started on his healing journey. So that's why I was just like, oh, it's on. It's on. And I just was like, you got me, Lord. You got my attention. I'm just going to do what you tell me. And not only that, as I'm writing my book, he revealed my purpose and the message that he's instilled in me to share with his daughters, and how self-love is the foundation to your healing journey.
I I love it. I love it. I love it. I don't think people realize that the sharing of your story, yes, it's going to bring about a triumph for you. Yes, it's going to bring about a release for you. Yes, there are going to be lots of things that are going to take place in you. But baby,
Mm-hmm.
your story is the key to someone else's breakthrough. And to say that and just being obedient and doing what it is that God has told me to do, my husband, like that's a whole other realm of things, right? And so and here's the thing, and the truth is that, and I love that you said I just want to be obedient, because when as believers, oftentimes when we say things to people like, I just did it because God told me to, they be like, oh no, okay, it got to be some other reason.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, no, I literally, in the pit of my belly, in my knowing place, I just knew that it was just time, right? And I just said yes to the knowing. That's hard for people to believe sometimes, but that tells me that clearly there's a really strong relationship that you have, to where you know that you know that you know, and you're either going to do or you're not going to do. And I respect that. I respect that. So before we move over to, my goodness, Oshesa and see, no, I'm having a hard time, y'all. Oshesa, but I'm gonna get it right. I'm not gonna mess up your name, sis. I believe names are important. And Denise, I would like for you to just give us a little bit more about what we can expect. Like, we know that Tareasha has an affirmations journal. People want to know what they're buying. So is your book a journal? Is it a guide? It is a devotional, or is it a nonfiction, memoir style book? Like, what type of book is it?
I would classify it as a guide and a journal.
Okay.
So throughout the book, with starting with the affirmation, I'm telling a story, why that particular affirmation resonated with me. And then I share, just a little bit of my story with each affirmation. And then I literally have the journal spacing where you can write out whatever you want to write.
Excellent. Excellent. And Tanysha, yours?
Yes, mine is I share life experiences that I, since birth until my breakthrough, like I shared with you guys with my family, it's a guide. I provide you with 9 keys, as I stated, and it provides you with bullet points, just keys for you to implement on your day-to-day life.
Excellent. Is there writing space? Is there a workbook component or journal component, or is it just a reading component?
It's reading, and it provides you with the 9 keys. After each chapter, you have bullet points and just examples to help you. The workbook is, I'm working on it. I'm working on that.
Yes. Sidebar, ladies, just sidebar. As a self-published author myself, I would strongly recommend, and to anyone thinking about being an author, especially if you're a nonfiction writer, create a companion. If you're giving a guide, create a companion. If you're writing, the memoir, create a companion. If you're writing something where people need to do some work, give them a companion. Teach them how to do the work. And that can show up in so many different ways. I think my first book, The Companion, is a Bible study. People were like, Angel, how were you able to heal? How were you able to get here? So I created a Bible study because that's how I was able to do it. Right. Another book, my second book, The Companion, is a journal. Why? Because that book was built out of my journals. I wrote a book based on my journals, right? So I created a journal for other women to do the same. So I will say to you all, if you don't already have a companion, create the companion. Okay. All right. So Oshesa and Denise.
All right, ladies. My story is a little different. I've been writing poetry over a long time, since 6th grade. And over the course of the last 7 years, I really reached out and started writing more. I had a dear friend that I lost, and I did not know how to grieve. So I just wrote how I felt on paper. And I have my daughter, oldest daughter, Bekendriana. She was like, "Mom, this is some good content. You need to share it." And I was like, but it's personal. And I didn't want to let the world know my thoughts. But then at one time, okay, I was like, well, maybe people need to read this and see that they can have an outlet, a way to put their words on paper, how they're feeling inside, so they can put it on paper. So I just contacted a cousin of mine, and it lit a fire. It started a domino effect. It's just like clockwork. She was ready to work on this project already, and God had told her to do this. And so I just walked in the door. 7 years later, book Hidden Gems was created. So, and I'm still writing to this day. So just be on the lookout because some more is coming. Journals are coming. Chapters telling about my life, they're coming. So I just want people to stay tuned in to me. You can contact me by Facebook, Oshessa Wynn, Instagram, Oshessa Wynn, TikTok, Lioness Within. And I have a website, www.winninglioness.com. And you can tune into that and see a little bit of what I have going on. And I do a little bit of motivational speaking as well. So that's a little bit of Hidden Gems right now.
That's
Can
what's
I say
up.
something?
Yes, please.
I just want to say that the world is so big and small because I know your daughter. I met your daughter a few years ago through a Facebook group, and your cousin Dad's like, "This is so amazing!" Like I had no clue until you said your daughter. I was like, "Daughter, wait a minute!
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
my girl, and Dad's is like a brother to me." So I just love
That is my
full
cousin.
circle
That's true.
moment.
Yes, very inspirational. They inspired me to put it on paper, girl, and let the world see, let the world know that they can put their feelings out there and let people know it's okay.
Yes, it's
That's
definitely okay.
right. That's right. I didn't realize you were in Augusta. I'm in
Yes,
Augusta.
ma'am.
And so it's amazing how, like you said, how big and small the world is. Evelyn Renee Farmer said something that I want to kind of address. And I know I told you all, I knew we would probably go a little over the 30 minutes, but it's my show and I could really do that if I want to. And that's what we're going to do. So, because it's good and y'all have good stuff, and I want everybody to know what you have. All right, so we're not gonna rush you. Evelyn says that's amazing, Oshessa. How that's how I feel. I need to get my emotions out, but also don't want my writing to hurt others. I know I could change the names now. This is going to take us on a sidebar, and that's why I have conversations here. This is not scripted. We allow the Lord to do what he will do in this space. I think this is a good place to sit for just a second as new authors, especially those of you who are writing from personal experience and writing about, and your personal experience includes other people. I know how I feel about it. But what I would like for you to do, Oshess, if you will, please, is speak to that for Evelyn.
So,
In terms of sharing and not hurting people's feelings while you share.
yes, I find a unique and creative way to put it into words, whereas they might know it's them, then it might not be them. So just find a creative way to put it into words so that you don't offend anybody. Because a lot of people like, I know I'm in that book. I say, get it, read it. It might be about you, then it might not be about you.
Mm-hmm.
Just figure it out for yourself. So it's the imagery, it's the words, it's the flow, if they really knew what happened between us, they know.
That's what's up.
But I do it in a sweet way.
Tanisha, you wanna chime in, sis? Because you look like
Yes,
I got ants in my pants. She like, I need to say it.
yes, because it's very important. And my book is a nonfiction book, and what I do is I expose the darkness, but I shine light on it with truth. And I'm talking about trauma, abuse. I talk about my internal untold stories that were never spoken. And but the Lord said, share the story. So I'm exposing a lot of darkness that a lot of people are not comfortable talking about. But I told the Lord, I will be that one, and I am that one. So it's important. All of us are hurting. All of us are broken. We all have gone through some things. Everyone has to embark on their healing journey, has to discover who they are. And if they are not willing to do that work, best believe that they're going to get offended. And this is why we must do the work, and we must learn to love ourselves. So when we are told, share your story, be honest, transparent, and provide your vulnerability, that's what you have to do. Therefore, we are no longer operating in pleasing anyone except for our Father in heaven. So if people have not done the work and healed, best believe that they're going to take offense. But you have to recognize that that is the spirit of offense that is operating within them. It has nothing to do with you, but the light that is within you. So just go ahead and share your story and do what the Lord has told you to do, and He's going to take care of everything.
I feel you. I'm with you on that one. I believe there's a way to even combine what both of you have said. And I believe that is something that I've been able to do even in my own work. I also publish nonfiction like you all. And I'm gonna say this. Take my glasses off. When I take my glasses off, I want y'all to see me. And everybody who's watching and anybody who's listening who knows that the story that you have in your belly is screaming to get out. It makes you sick that you won't tell it. It keeps you in a place of grieving because you won't tell it. It keeps you in a place of self-defeat when you won't tell it. So I want to say this to you to help you. People should not be monsters in your real life if they don't want to be the monster in your story.
Period.
Wow.
Understand that. So if you have been the monster in my life, if you have molested me in my life, if you have been a narcissist in my life, if you have been an abuser in my life, if you have been a liar in my life, if you have been a bully in my life, if you have been the monster in my real bona fide Holy Ghost filled life before it was Holy Ghost filled,
Yes.
if that was you, then you can expect that you're going to be that same person in the book. Now, what I will do is keep myself from being attacked or something of that nature. So, I'll try to make it all right. But the truth is this: in a court of law, the truth won't send you to jail. Folks can't sue you for telling the truth. They can sue you for defamation. But what you did was real. And so if you end up in my book, it's because you did something real. You understand? So if you're sitting in a place where you're being tormented by truth, you are allowing truth to, because truth ain't gonna lie lingering in your stomach. It's gonna have to come out for you to heal. So tell it. And that is what Speak Up Sis is about. It is telling it. Open up your mouth and tell it. Now like Oshessa says, there are ways to tell it. I have a book where I share 10 different men that I've had encounters with in my life. Guess what? if those men ever read the book. They know it's them. They know it's them. Now, other people might not know who they are. Maybe people who knew us at the time, maybe be like, oh, that's Angel, I wrote a book. She put you in the book. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a way to be tactful. You can temper it with tact, right? But tell it. And I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I'm gonna let y'all get back to this. Tareasha, did you want to add, or Denise, did y'all want to add to this conversation about how do you share when you don't want to hurt people?
I do, but it looks like Denise about to bubble over, so I'm gonna let her go.
All right. So we'll come back to you, Tareasha.
I appreciate that, Tareasha. And my statement is this: what you just said, Angel. I'm going to use the code name Sakai. Sakai, if you are listening, that comment by our sister Angel should be the gate or the key for you now to release that book that you wrote into the wild. She's a good friend of mine. We've known each other since hopscotch. So red light, green light, 1, 2, 3. And we talked about the writing journey that I'm on. And she is an amazing artist. And she has a story, a book that she wrote. She told me all about it. And I said, why aren't you publishing it? Let me help you. And she says, well, I don't want the person that caused the trauma, just like you mentioned, that was the monster, to be offended. And I said, oh, yeah, no. I said exactly what you said, Angel. So all I'm going to say now is, Sakai, you heard what Angel said. You heard what I said. Release that book and publish. That's all I have for that.
Glory. Listen, don't play. Speak Up Sis be getting folk free. Listen, don't turn in a form for any Speak Up Sis platform if you don't want to get free. Because you gonna get free fooling up over Ryan in here. So listen, hold on a second. So Tareasha, I want you to share, and I'm not even gonna pronounce. I'm gonna say Wynn. I want Wynn to know that I see your comment, and I want Oshesa to see this comment, because she wants you to share her favorite poem. Okay, so I just didn't want her to think like, yeah, she ignored me. We see you, boo. So I want you to see that. So if you need to get that ready or whatever, you could do that. All right, so Tareasha, I'm gonna let you share, sis.
So since Evelyn asked the question, I'll direct it to you, but it's really for any of us. I agree with Angel. Yes, what everyone else has said is great and it's true. You can find creative ways to tell your story and not have to expose people by naming names. Now, you definitely want to expose the situation, but here's what I've learned on my healing journey. You got to be truthful with yourself, and you got to call a spade a spade. Whatever it was, you're concerned about not hurting anyone else by telling your story, but they hurt you. And so in turn, you can't even get free and heal from this because you're worried about protecting people. And I can say that, and I resonate so strongly in my spirit with you because that was me. I've known for at least the last 3 to 4 years that I'm supposed to write a book. And I've been hesitant. There's still another book where I really need to go into detail about the things that I've been through that I haven't even put in this particular book. And I have been hesitant because I don't want to hurt people. I don't want certain people who the public may see on a certain platform in a positive light to be destroyed or seen in a negative light because I'm sharing my story. But that's not how I get free. That's not how I get healed. So I would definitely encourage you to tell your truth. And like it's been said, the truth will set you free. It will, but you tell your truth and pray and ask the Holy Spirit to guide you on how you can tell your truth without name dropping per se. You want to change the names up. If you have to say names, you may not even have to give names. Reference the situation, the trauma, whatever happened, share your story and keep it moving.
That's what's up, sis. And that's real talk. That's real talk. And someone asked a question. Someone asked a question. Hold on a second. I wanna make sure that we get this because it's so let me say this. I bless the Lord for placing on my heart to do this new author spotlight because there are so many women, so many people in general that I meet who tell me, I know I'm supposed to write a book. I know my story. I know I'm supposed to do this. I know I'm supposed to do that. I just don't know how to do it, Angel. I don't know where to start, Angel. I just don't know. And my initial intention was, okay, I'm gonna have 30 minutes. I'm gonna let these ladies come on. They're gonna tell who they are. They're gonna tell about their books. We're gonna go home in 30 minutes. But I should have known better because that's not what the Lord has called me to do. And the truth is, before you can ever put pen to paper, you got to deal with some stuff. I can almost guarantee each woman on this platform had to deal with some things. She had to be dealt with. Some stuff had to be purged, had to be broken, had to be burned out, had to be dealt with before you can put pen to paper. I have read people's work where they did not do any of that prior, and it bleeds on the paper, and it's not transformative. It's not helpful. I couldn't even get through it because I can tell the person isn't healed. So if you are in a place where you're like, I know I'm supposed to write a story, I know I'm supposed to put this down, but you are having the toughest time. And look at this here. Arliss Best says, why is hurting women? Why do we care so much about the offense of the abuser? Let me tell you, there's work that has to be done. If you sit in a place where this is you and this is what's stopping you, there is still work to be done in you, because you can share your story without sharing somebody else's story. When I share my story, it involves a mother who had an addiction, but never do I tell her story. I can't tell her story, but I can share my story, even though she may be involved, without telling her story, right? And without making her look like the enemy in my story. But that comes through healing and doing the work, which I believe every woman on this platform has done prior, or at least is in the journey prior to writing. Yes. So I bless the Lord for y'all for allowing me to have a little extra time with you, because there are some people who need to be in the spotlight and they can't get to where you all are until they hear you tell the heart of it. You know what I'm saying? Writing the book is easy.
All right.
Putting the pen to paper, rather, you can talk it out and someone will transcribe it to you. It is the getting to the place where you will share it without fear, shame, self-condemnation, and all of that. So, Denise, your book is the one that we have yet to really hear about what it is. So, if you will, please, we're going to jump into that.
Yes.
Tell us like what we can expect when we purchase your book.
So the name of the book again is It Happened at Church. I want everyone to understand it is a work of fiction. It's religious comedy. I tell people all the time, fiction means it's not real. These are characters that I created, situations that I created as the author. It is Vista Settles is telling the story about all these different things that happen in church, and or as it relates to people that she's related to or associated with in the church. And there are a lot of funny little stories. Some of them are a little on the serious side, but happier endings, some not so happy. But it is a book of religious fiction, comedy. I want people to laugh when they read the book. A couple of folks read it and thought that I was talking about their church. And I'm like, I've never set foot in your church. It's a work of fiction. So I keep telling people, if you think that you're Sister Tidewater, you need Jesus. If you think this is you. If you think you're Vista Ann Settles, then that's okay, because she's a pretty decent character. If you are Bernita in this book, if you think that I'm talking about you, you need Jesus. And we know the church is a hospital, right? You know, I'm a Christian. I wanted to write something that wasn't heavy, if you will. So this is a break from, some of the other books that are out there talking about what happened in church. someone thought it was about the abuse that takes place in church. And it's like, no, I didn't want to go down that path. It's a work of fiction. I want people to read the book, read it when you're on your flight from the East Coast to the West Coast. It's a short read. If you don't chuckle or find something in that book that sounds familiar, because nothing is new under the sun, right? If it sounds familiar, I'm still telling you it's a work of fiction. It is not about anyone that I know of, and these are stories that I created. I just wanted people to have fun with it, not be afraid to put the book down and um, have someone pick it up and start reading it. There's nothing salacious about it. There are stories in it that cover the gamut, and I am working on the second part of It Happened at Church, and we're going to go in another direction, but still staying under the religious comedy fiction cover. So I want people to have fun when they read the book. So yes, first, I want you to go and pick up one of the books from these other authors on this page, because everybody on here has something that's going to heal. But when you need a chuckle and a laugh, pick up my book. It happened that way. And like I said, it's an easy read. And I think one of the other questions that you put to us was why. Okay, well, let me tell you why. I was bored. I promise you. I know how to crochet. I taught myself how to knit, and this was back in 2015 or something like that. I taught myself how to knit. I read a lot as well, but then when I don't want to read, I want to do something with my hands. So I started writing. I had stories that were coming to me, and I was like, God, what is this? You know what I mean? I want to be famous, if write a screenplay or something like that. And so I started writing the first piece, and I had the characters were developed, and then it was like writer's block. But I honestly believe it was God saying, no, not this way. We put that to the side. Now write this thing. And so the 5 or 6 different, we call them whips, like works in progress. 2 of them are finished. It Happened at Church is the one that I took to self-publish back in March. And I'm looking forward to self-publishing the next book, It Happened at Church. And the fan base has told me they're not waiting until next March. They want it sooner. I'm working to get it done by December of this year. And in the process of that, I also want to release the other work in progress. Well, it's not a work in progress. It's actually finished, and it's called The Backyard. So looking forward to releasing more and entertaining and keeping it a little bit on the lighter side. But people can relate to the book. There's someone in every church. Nothing is new under the sun, right? Everybody knows that usher from when we were kids, that if you were chewing gum, you were going to get pinched, popped, and you're going to spit that gum out in their hand. So everybody knows that usher that isn't playing, that was today we would call it assault, that might assault one of your children if they're cutting up in the church sanctuary. I'm just saying, that's Sister Bernitha, right? And everybody has that sister in their church, Sister Tidewater, that we're going to be honest. The sister that comes in, she's wearing something that's just a little tight, and she thinks she's got it going on, and she knows everything, and she could tell thinks that she could tell the pastor how to pastor his church. We all know those people in all the black churches, right? Well, they're in this book. And then you got Sister Vista, who's telling the stories. Everybody loves her. Doesn't have an enemy on the planet. If you don't like Sister Vista, something is truly wrong with you. So all these characters in this book, nothing is new under the sun. There's something in this book you're going to say, oh, I knew somebody who did this. I knew a Jewel who had a wife and 5 mistresses. Yes, he's in this book too. Yeah, all of that. So, it's a whole lot going on, but not so much.
What I like about what you've done with your work, and I'm actually looking for, so I have Tareasha's. And I'm going to say this sidebar here. I do sidebars all the time, because when it pop up, I got to say it. I'm going to forget it. I met Tareasha in person at an event, and she was going to give me her book. But I said, no, I'm going to pay you for your book. Understand? Pay people for their books. Pay people for their books. So I that's just a little sidebar, but I want to say I have actually purchased her book. I have hers, and I'm gonna make sure that I have a whole bookshelf over here, y'all. I buy everybody's books, and they're in a queue. I'm gonna get them all done, and when I do, I might call you and be like, "Girl, I'll be in your inbox." So I say that to say I'm looking forward to reading your book because it's fiction. And a lot of times I believe when we think about Christian work, we always think Jesus. And I ain't nothing wrong with thinking about Jesus. However, there are other genres other than religious, right? Religious books. There are other genres. There's fiction. There's romance. There's urban fiction. There's sci-fi, right? And Denise, I would like to connect you. I don't know if you got a chance to see the conversations that connect with Colette or Harrell, but she started out as a traditionally published. She got a book deal. They paid her, she got a bona fide book deal. She worked with some top authors that many of us are familiar with. And she has come into the indie self-published space, and she was on Conversations That Connect, and she talked to us. I'd like to connect the two of you, considering you write fiction. She's an amazing person to know as a fiction writer, and I think that would be a wonderful connection. So don't let me forget that. I think that will fit. Right there. And we're going to go ahead and begin to wrap this. 30 minutes turned into an hour. But I bless the Lord. I feel really good about this. I am not excusing it because I know that God has done what needed to be done. He has had us to say what needs to be said. I do want to know if Oshesa has pulled out that poem that her friend or sister or cousin or somebody. That's the daughter. I saw the last name, so I know it's family. So I want to know if you have that, and if you do, I would love for you to share with us. And then after she shares, there's a question that was posed, and I would like this to be our final say, because I like to give everybody an opportunity to kind of give last words, and I think this is a wonderful last words question/comment. I want to write a book, but I'm so confused on where to start. So after Oshesa reads for us, I would like you, and that'll give y'all some time to think. What would you say to Elizabeth, a woman who says, I want to write a book, but I'm confused where to start? I want you to give her some words of encouragement, some tangible things, maybe whatever you want to share with her. So we're going to hear that poem first, and then we'll start with Tanysha, and we'll go around so that you all can share. Okay, Tanysha, did you want to say something first?
Yes. I just wanted to say that I do have to hop off because I do have another interview, but I'm gonna watch the replay because I want to hear that poem. I just want to thank you for allowing me to come on and just share my book with you all. And for Elizabeth, whatever the book is going to be about, just start writing it, and the Lord will take care of the rest. That's what I did, and He provided me with my divine helpers, and I was able to get it structured beautifully. So just go for it, girl. You got this. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to purchase my book, hannahsunfadingbeauty.com. I love you all. God bless you.
Thank you. And you have a wonderful night. Thank you for coming on Speak Up Sis Talk Show, our very first new author spotlight. I appreciate you.
Bye.
Good night. All right. Is there ladies, is there someone else who needs to hop off really quickly? No, we're going to go ahead and keep moving. Okay, then. So let's go ahead and we want to hear the poem.
Well, I hope this is befitting. But we're all saved here. And we do sometimes come across this one person who will try you. So I had to write about it, and it's entitled Crunchy Munch. And so every time you call or text, it's Crunchy Munch. Dude, I would love to go out for brunch. Is it my thickness that makes you think I have low self-esteem? Child, please. Is it crunchy much, you fiend, overlooking this beautiful black queen? Your blindness taking away the real scene. A woman who's able to give you sheen, a shine which will always gleam. Give you an encouraging right now word which helps washes you clean. Arms of steel which holds you up like a beam. Have you saying, wow, she's the ultimate thing. But it's crunchy much, you fiend. Well, excuse me, dude. I'm a beautiful black queen. I am not gonna fall for any old thing. Learn how to approach me. Then maybe you will be able to experience this ultimate, beautiful, classy, all so sassy black queen.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love not Crunchy Munch.
Crunch.
Crunchy Munch. Stop playing. I like it. I love it.
Thank you.
I love poetry. So I'm looking forward. I'll be posting your poetry on my page, sis. I'll make sure
Thank you.
I listen. I'll be putting your little name next to it so you can get your credit.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And I hope your daughter is here to have listened so she knows that you got that.
I do too.
All right. And somebody has purchased a book, and that is what we like. Thank you, Gail, Mississippi Chapman Rucker. She said, I just secured it. It happened at church. Much success to all of you lovely ladies. Thank you so much for purchasing the book. And before we leave, I'm going to let each woman tell exactly one more time where people can purchase your books. Okay. So take about a minute each. Give Elizabeth, what can she do to just get the book done?
So Elizabeth, where I started was brainstorming or brain dumping, should I say. So I just started with, initially I wanted to do 40 affirmations for each year that I've been alive, but I felt like that was too much. But I just jotted down everything that was on my mind, whatever the affirmation was, what I wanted to say about each affirmation. That's where it started for me, just getting it out of my head and onto paper, because once I committed to paper, then it's out of my head and now it's time to work. So that would be what I would offer to you as a starting point, is to write it down.
All right. Excellent. Someone else?
So what I would say is Nike. Just do it. I think that a lot of people make it more difficult than it needs to be. There are some things that you do need to sort out, obviously, if you're trying to write nonfiction and trying to encourage others, because you first have to encourage yourself first, right? When we're on a plane, they tell us that if there's a loss of pressure, you're supposed to do what? Put the mask on yourself first, not even your infant. Put it on yourself first, because if you can't breathe, how are you going to help the baby? How are you going to help the person next to you? So Nike, just do it. Start writing. Put the ideas on paper. Don't worry about that it's not in order. You started at the 2-year-old mark when you should start at the 15-year-old mark. It doesn't matter. Start writing, because the great thing about today is we have computers and Word document or whatever you want to write your story in. And you could take the whole paragraph and say, well, that should have been first, and move it to the first, or move it to the last, wherever you want to put it. You can move the stories around so that once you have the flow that you want, then you can go there. But the first thing you should do before you do anything else is pray, because the last thing you want to do is start writing a book and have 5,000 pages written, get it in order, and it not have been ordained or blessed by God. Let's be real. You're not supposed to do anything unless you get that move from on high. So pray first, then proceed, and just Nike. Just do it.
All right. Just do it and write it out. All right. Oshessa, you want to share?
Well, it's plain and simple. It's already in the word. In the book of Habakkuk, it says, write your vision, make it plain, and run after it until you see the manifestation of it. So, like Denise says, just do it.
All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much. Elizabeth is in the comments. She says, great advice, Ty. And Denise, love it. Thank you so much. Perfectly said. And she running. So that's what's up. Ladies, I'm just so grateful that you all shared some space tonight. I thank you. I know we ran over our 30 minutes, but I'm grateful that you all had the extra time to be able to share just a little extra with our viewers tonight. Please tell us where we can get your work and how people can follow you if you have social media. Tareasha, we'll start with you.
I am on all social media as Tareasha Monet, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, Threads, all of the social medias. My handles are the same. There's a link on all of my social media pages. So if you're on Facebook or whatever, there's a link where you can purchase my book. It's also available under on Amazon under This Has to Be a Lie in my name. So whatever's friendly for you, or you can slide in my DMs. And if you're local to the Augusta area, I do have books on hand, and we can link up to get you a copy.
All right, great. All right. Next, who wants to go next?
I'll go
Shante,
next.
oh, go ahead, Shante, please. Yes.
Okay, you can contact me on Facebook, Wynn, Instagram, Wynn, TikTok, Lioness Within. I have a website. It's www.winninglioness.com. I have a link there where my book is on Amazon.com. So you can look on Amazon for Hidden Gems, and it's Wynn. I, I think that is all. I think I covered all the social media sites and my website. So.
Okay.
But I do also have books on hand. For anybody that need a book, just DM me or any type of way, and I will try to get it to you. Up and down I-20, because I travel to Elberton, Georgia every day to work. So if you need me to stop anywhere in between those areas, I'm willing to.
That's what's up. So if you're in the CSRA, you can hit her up directly and she'll get you a book. Same with Tareasha. Okay. And Denise.
Yes, my book is located on Amazon. Most of the time, Amazon is saying it's sold out. Can't understand that, but that's another story. Amazon, Barnes and Noble will absolutely deliver the book to you. You can find my social media handles. I am under Denise Author on Facebook, Denise Author on Instagram and TikTok. You can find. Please follow me on Amazon. Please follow me as the author so that when the next book is released, you'll get that notification. If you're following me on Facebook, you'll get the notification. I also have copies of the book with me. So if you're in the DMV, depending on how far away you are from the District of Columbia, I don't mind having a meetup. If I'm having a book signing and you are connected to me on Facebook, you'll see that notification, or even on Instagram. My author website is ndeniseauthor.square.site. And from that, you order the book will be shipped to you, and it will also be autographed with your name, of course, and it'll be personalized to you. So on all social media handles, Denise Author, ndeniseauthor.square.site for autograph copies that will be mailed to your doorstep. And if you are in the DMV, again, like I said, if you reach out to me on any of those platforms, you can. I'm willing to meet up with you and drop the book off in person. My email address is ndeniseauthor@icloud.com in case you have any questions. And I ask that anyone who purchased or does have a copy of the book or needs a copy of the book, that once you read it, that you please come back and provide comments. I'm a big girl. I can take it. So I want to hear your honest feedback, because I do value feedback from everyone who gets a copy of the book. And I think that's it.
All right. That's what's up. Well, I appreciate you ladies for coming in tonight for the very first Speak Up Sis Talk Show New Author Spotlight. You all have been amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed, the space along with the other ladies who were here. I also invite you all to put your books on Speak Up Sis bookshelf. You, whether you are an author with me tonight or you are an author who's watching us, Speak Up Sis bookshelf is a place for you to list your self-published and indie author books. It's a niche space. We have a community that's curated of people who go specifically to our bookshelf purchase books. So consider putting your books on Speak Up Sis bookshelf. You can also find this talk tonight at speakupsis.com/talk show. Those of you who are watching on YouTube, thank you so much. If you're not already subscribed to Speak Up Sis YouTube, go ahead and click the bell to get notifications and subscribe to Speak Up Sis on YouTube. You can also follow Speak Up Sis Bookshelf on all of your social media platforms. We're Speak Up Sis Bookshelf on Instagram, and we're also Speak Up Sis Bookshelf on Facebook. And if you would like to be on the Speak Up Sis Talk Show, new author spot, I got to get used to saying it, y'all. It's so fresh. New author spotlight. Then please go to speakupsis.com/talk show. There is a button that says become a guest, and there's a form that you fill out, and you click the spotlight on the form, and that will let me know that you're interested in the spotlight. And I would love to have you in this space and share you and your work with our viewing audience as well. And with that, everybody, you all have a beautiful, beautiful night. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful. Y'all take care.
Thank you for this opportunity. Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome.
Thank you.